Hey, hey, Mitch.
Hello, mate.
How you doing?
Goodly.
Yeah, good. Yeah, what's happening? What's happening in your world?
I just had the world's fastest lunch.
Yeah, well, I mean, you're an expert, aren't you, in that kitchen?
I'm Mitch.
Hello there.
Are you well?
I'm well, man. How are you?
Very well. I can smell potatoes burning.
That's a good name. That's a good name, isn't it? Oosthausen. Is that like like Oosthouse?
Say Oosthuizen.
Oosthuizen, yes. Mitch has had some experience in South Africa, you see.
It means Eastern House, not Oosthouse.
Yeah. Oh, it's not where they dry the hops to make the beer.
No.
Yes, let's rather do it that way. It might feel better. No, it's Dutch origin.
Dutch, Dutch, yeah. Well, of course, but it's very similar to Oosthouse, obviously, which is a Kentish from the southeast of England.
Yeah.
I mean, they're quite unusual because I'm not sure they have that type of construction anywhere else in the country, in England.
Mm.
And there's a part of the house that's actually circular, and there's a conical roof with a wind vane on the top.
Okay.
And once upon a time, there was just a single floor in there where the hops were laid out, and the wind vane is an exit for the air, which is drawn in from below, and moves up through the hops within the building to dry them. Yeah, that's right.
So it's a hops.
Yeah. And a lot of those properties have now been turned into homes, people's homes. God bless you, Governor.
Thank you.
And they present particular challenges to people, like, the people that are fitting, let's say, the radiators, because the radiators need to be curved to follow the shape of the wall, and worktops and so forth. So you need kind of people that are used to working on yachts and boats to actually fit the fit the furniture to the shape of the building.
Yeah.
But he was also a golfer, I think, wasn't he? Was there a golfer?
Yes, my namesake in Cape Town. Yes, he's a good renowned golfer.
Yeah. Yeah, Gary Player, of course, he was South African, wasn't he? And something that he said that I picked up on. He moved out to Florida at the end of his life, and he actually, I think he built a golf complex somewhere down near Palm Beach, I think it was.
Yes, he's renowned for the more you practice, the luckier you
get. Exactly. That is the phrase, isn't it, that he's associated with? Yeah, the more I practice, the luckier I get.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Yeah.
Are we're growing.
Curious. Sometimes you get 40, 50, sometimes you get 10. You never know what's going to happen.
Yeah, it's a Sunday stay. Perhaps lots of people are having fun and Sunday lunches and spending time with loved ones, maybe.
Anyway, so John, you can go first this time. Do your very quick introduction, and then we can ask questions.
Okay. Yeah, well, okay. All right. Well, so I would just say that there are a couple of points I'd like to make before we get into this, for anybody that's new here. There's no such thing as a silly question. All right. So do not be shy about, coming out and asking us anything, because if you're thinking it, you can bet your bottom dollar somebody else has thought it in the past, if it's anything to do with the education. And do not compare your day 30 with somebody else's day 330. There are going to be moments maybe where you hear Mitch and I use language that is unfamiliar, that might sound like a foreign language, but don't be put off by that. This is a learning curve like any other, and something that Brian Tracy said once upon a time was, we are able to learn anything that we need to learn to achieve any goal that we set our minds to achieve. Okay. So yeah, there it is. I mean, over to Mitch. You can say 1 or 2 words of wisdom.
I'll say 1 or 2 words, but then you judge whether or not it's wisdom. So I joined this system about 2 years ago. 2 years ago in middle of July sometime. So I've been going for 2 years. Started by learning how to resell Modern Wealthy because that gave me the chance to do Google, emails, autoresponders and everything without having to do a product. Then once I'd sold 3, I got very excited and I stopped and went off and built a site for our guest house and a site training people how to run guest houses. And that's my project now for the European winter. I'm going to rebuild that site. I'm going to say learning, taking all the learning I've got from Modern Wealthy, but basically that means copying lots of Modern Wealthy, the systems and all of that. So that site's already working, but I just want to improve it and get it to another level during the winter. So that's what I'm up to. We're both normal. No, I was going to say we're both normal people. We're both ordinary people. and we've just been working on it for longer. I think John's a year more than me, but we just keep going, and slowly you get to where you want to go. My ambition is to get another site up next year and then one up the year after that, and then that'll be me. I'll have 5 sites running, each one earning a small income, and the last one's probably going to have to do with travel, because that's what I want to do. So that's my whole story. So what I'm going to do is jump into questions, John, because there's a lady called Carol Sutcliffe there. I can't see her on the screen. Now I can. She's in relief.
Yeah,
Yeah,
silhouette.
sorry, I'm so
Yeah.
dark. Hi,
That's all
guys.
right. So Carol's asked about 42 questions here. So I'm just going to start with the first one. To what extent did you restructure the free LaunchPad website, and may I ask what the cost was? So if I understand you correctly, they send you a website. You're talking about the website for Modern Wealthy, that one.
Yes, the ambassador one that you get free.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So I didn't restructure it very much, but I did it all myself. I don't know what John's answers would be. So what I did is I went through and changed most of the photos, because I just felt that the photos in the LaunchPad website were all about, they were like children. They were 35 or something, everybody. And so I changed it to pictures of older people, which I just got online, because you can find websites online where for $10 or something you can buy 10 pictures, something like that. So I did that, and then I went through and I didn't rewrite the copy. I just changed it so that it wasn't so American. I thought it was too American, too many capital letters everywhere, too much stuff like that. So those are the changes I made. But I don't, just to finish the question, here's a big word for me, in a more holistic manner. I don't see that I use that website very much. It's more like a base for all the stuff that's happening on the convertery setup and so on. I think in 2 years, I've got 2 members who have found the website, joined that way and come in from that. 99% of my members are coming in from Facebook and YouTube.
Interesting. Okay.
But that's what I did do. I did take the time to go and rethink the copy. So I kept it in the same structure. I just rethought it into my kind of conversation and took out all the capital letters and silly expletives and things that they might have had. And then I changed lots and lots of the photos.
I'll turn my video off.
Birds. Okay.
No. Just to say, oh, sorry, I'm turning off.
Yeah, there we go.
All right, then I saw you also created a new website entirely, or had one created for your restaurant. Did you have that done by a professional?
Yes. So what I did with that one, it's created by it's the IT stuff is done by a guy in Zambia called Andy Higgins, and I'll stick.
Yes.
I can stick his name in the chat box if somebody wants that. Hang on. He's just very quick, and what I found is that I was taking far too long to do the building of an actual site, because it's not as easy as everybody wants you to think. Well, I didn't think so anyway. I'm just going to I'm dropping into the chat. I think it's going to go to everybody, but so be it. It's andy@chisenga.com. He's a guy from the UK, lives in Zambia. And what I found is I could send him my bad drawings and say, okay, I want the first page to look like this. And then I would send him photographs and body copy. So I had to do all of that. And then so if you look at the site for our guest house, I think that cost me 1,400 pounds, British pounds, to build that, or might have been 1,400 euros.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Right.
So
Now you've got a pretty clean cut website. I like your restaurant website. And John tells me that his one is home knit. His LaunchPad one.
Yeah.
So I'm not so John seems to have become an expert on creating websites himself. That I plan to have mine done by a professional. Having tried and made a big mess, I think I'll hand it over to the professionals to restructure completely for my business, which is like a holistic health hub thing.
Well, everybody seems to have a different way of doing that. The decision I made after about 3 or 4 months was that I was never going to become an expert in the IT world. And that was my main decision, because, as I went deeper and deeper into how to build a website, I just kept opening these different, I call them cans of worms, but the IT people call them wonderful stuff. So if you want to capture names and addresses, there's 19 ways you can do that. Do you want it to do this, that, or the other? It's like, whoa, cheers, man. You could spend a year learning how to build websites. And my fear was that by the time I'd done that, they'd have changed half the stuff. And I think it was actually John or maybe Mike who said to me, why don't you just get someone to do it? So for the bed and breakfast one, as I say, I took all the photos, I did all the videos, I wrote all the copy. Then I sent it to Andy with my very rough drawings of what I wanted. And I think within a week, he had finished the whole thing, because that's what he does all the time. And that was a lesson to me. So now I'm building another one, which is the revamp of the one for training people how to run their guest houses. And again, I'm just going to send it to Andy. So now, between now and the end of February, I've got to make all the videos and all of that stuff. And then I'll just send them to Andy as they finish. And he creates the website with the lessons and all of that.
Okay, fantastic.
Too hard.
So you using which pay functions are you using? Which e-commerce functions are you using? PayFast or PayPal as a payment portal on your website?
The answer is I don't know.
Okay, so you're using Hotel, whatever it's called.
No,
I saw a whole.
Yes, because let me share my screen and I'll just show you what's happening there. Can everybody see? Can everybody see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, so the place at Evremont is this site here.
Yes.
Okay, so I wrote all the copy, took all the pictures, and then just gave Andy bad drawings, made the videos, and so on. But every page has got this booking function here.
Every page. All right, so the booking function is on every page. So then your PayFast or your WooCommerce or whatever, you don't use WooCommerce or anything like
No,
that. You use
because
booking.com.
No, that comes from
No,
this
you're not
crowd called Servoy. So this Servoy is the payment thing designed for hotels. And
I see. Okay. Thank you very
so
much. I don't want to take so much time.
that's all right. So
Hogging the thing.
the bookings go in here. The bookings come from booking.com, from direct bookings on our site from everywhere. And this
Okay.
thing handles all the money and everything. So that's
I
the way
see.
we set that up. And
Okay,
you
and
can
you got
buy,
help.
yeah, you can get similar plugins. That's why the site that I'm building that trains people how to run a bed and breakfast, I'm building that on Lifter LMS, which I get through the LaunchPad community. I'll show you again. I'll show you again where that is.
Okay.
You're testing my skills today.
Awesome.
Yeah.
But that you don't need Convertri for that, do you?
No,
Lifter
this is completely different. So if I go to my mentors page,
yes,
I'll
mentors.
see if it's still here.
Yeah, DBL. Yeah.
Yeah, no, there used to be a site. It used to have a heading here called Lifter LMS, but it's I'm doing everything through DBL.
Okay.
What are you building?
Yeah, I'm building my sister and I are building a website, which is like a holistic health hub. It's called healthwealthandwisdom.biz. So it's financial health, physical health, and also spiritual health.
Okay.
And we're including Launch You as one of the ways to gain financial wealth.
That's clever.
Yeah.
So I don't have much experience on that, because Lifter LMS is built for people who want to do a training course. And it's got all the modules in there. So you take your video, you plug you cut and paste your video into section 1 if it's video 1. Then you put your copy in section 1, and the mechanism already exists. So I don't have to build
for a training course.
Yeah.
Okay, fantastic. And so the one of the plugins on WordPress is WooCommerce. So I'm using that one. I don't know, is that okay? All right. And then my web designer has suggested I use PayFast, which I've done. I've linked it up. And then I see you using a lot of social media platforms as well. And I know John is also got a whole plethora now of social media platforms. Are you using Google Ads? Are you using Google Ads yet? Or just the YouTube, Instagram, Facebook?
So far, I'm just on. They're so hard to get them right. So I'm only using YouTube, and I've just started in Facebook about 2 months ago. And what I've learned is, when you can do the one, it doesn't mean you can do the other. So I've stopped Facebook for about 4 weeks, and I'm going to start it again, following some courses, because I just jumped in and thought, I know everything. I can just put an ad out on Facebook and I'll make a fortune. And I didn't. I lost money. So I've gone back to the beginning, and I'm watching the training on Launch You for Facebook, and I'm going through that.
It's quite advanced, quite complex, isn't it?
Yeah.
All right. So, and the last question I'm going to ask, and then John can also give his input on all this. Did you use your LaunchPad email list, or did you create an entirely new one for your new business?
A new one.
A totally new one.
Yeah. My LaunchPad list, I have never got to the stage of doing something more with it, and I need to do that. And I'll work with John on that in the winter, because I've got about 95 or 100,000 names on there now, and it's people who are opening the emails as we go along, but they've never joined Modern Wealthy. And I think John's got even more. And I just had this idea that maybe after a year and a half or 2, these people aren't going to join Modern Wealthy. I should maybe try to get them to do something else. And I don't know exactly what yet, but if somebody gave you their name and address and then didn't delete you for 2 years, they're listening to something, but obviously Modern Wealthy doesn't suit them. So what I want to do is think of 2 or 3 different offers, so that after a year, if people haven't purchased Modern Wealthy, I can say, okay, you didn't want that. What about this? And I've just got to try
Yes.
and think what it is, because I can't suddenly say, you know, do you want a blender? You say, what? But it's got to be, you know,
Yeah.
the guys, they didn't want to go down the route of learning the Modern Wealthy. So here's a different self-help program or something like that.
But mine is connected. You know, we were offering financial freedom. Now we're offering balanced, not only financial health, but also physical health and
Yeah.
spiritual health. So maybe we could say to those same guys, you know, if you're interested, go there or something.
Yeah.
But maybe John can give some input on that as well.
Yeah, jump in, John.
Thanks, Mitch. Thank you, Mitch. Thank you
Okay.
very much.
Okay. All right. Okay. Well, look, we'll go through them in order. Okay. So when I began my education back in June 2020, the Modern Wealthy Launch U didn't exist. So the way it worked back in those days is you were given a template, WordPress template, and it was completely random. It had nothing to do with anything that we're doing right now. So you know, you weren't given you weren't kind of given a website. You weren't given anything like the Ambassador website. I think it was there may have been a photograph of a girl with a camera on the homepage, and there was Laura Sipson, you know, some random Latin text on 1 or 2 of the other pages, and you essentially you had to create the site from scratch, but you were using a template. So it was a case of editing, but you had to edit everything.
Okay.
And when I talk about my site being hand knitted, I mean it's extremely hand knitted. I'm proud that I did. I'm proud that I did it. It took a month.
Doesn't look too bad, John.
But it's not. These days I'm less than wholly satisfied with it. And I was in conversation with some. I was in email communication with somebody earlier today about. So I had some professional photography done this year, and the idea was that I wanted to kind of up the game, if you like, and improve the quality of the imagery that I'm putting out into the world. And this is what's happened. And there's some branding that's gone along with that. And it's sooner or later there will be a whole new website, but I won't be building it because I'm not a designer.
Okay.
But I've sort of invested quite dearly in professional photography and a social media manager for the time being.
Okay.
It's all money that's been pulled out of the business. Obviously, the thing's sort of fueling itself these days, but it's a new strategy, and I'm hoping to take the entire business to a whole new level of sophistication. Let's put it like that. Okay. So yeah. So to what extent did you restructure the free LaunchPad website? May I ask what the cost was? Well, it did, so that didn't cost me anything, but you know, it may have cost me a lot actually. You know, sometimes it might be less expensive to engage a professional and do the thing.
Actually worthwhile going to a professional and getting my website or our website done from scratch.
There's a saying I picked up from the Americans, and it is, how does it go? If you couldn't afford to do it right the first time, how come you can afford to do it over? How come you can afford to do it again?
No, what's it?
Go on, Mick.
You never get a second chance to make a first impression. That's the
Good one. We'll write that down quickly, John. John's taking notes.
So
it's never time to do it properly, but always time to do it again. That's what
exactly.
we used to say.
Yeah, exactly. But of course, you know, when you're in that position and there's this uncertainty, it's sometimes it's difficult to trust yourself or, you know, justify the expense. I understand. Yeah. I mean, if you knew it was going to be a winner, you just dive in and do it and put your hand in your pocket and do whatever you
You
had to
never
do.
know.
Yeah, but you never know.
Yeah.
Do you? Okay, so do you create entirely different websites for different aspects of your business? So I mean, the reason why I don't consider, because as an affiliate, I'm not doing what you're doing. I think what you're doing, you need a credible home that looks good, that's effective. It's more important the effectiveness of that homepage than it looking good. I believe, you know, there needs to be I think the homepage above the fold needs to answer 3 questions, ideally. Are you aware of what it needs to answer?
Say it again.
Okay, all right. Well, so
Who am I
is this?
speaking to? What am I saying? Or
Well, yeah,
whatever.
what is this all about? So for the
Yeah.
person, it has to pass the grunt test, all right? You have to imagine that you've got a Neanderthal arriving on your homepage. And the first thought is, what is this? What's this all about? You've got to condense and crystallize your message to the simplest and most powerful terms. Right? What
Be
is this all?
concise.
What
Sure.
is this all about? Okay,
Mhm.
why should I care?
Good.
What's in it for me? Why should I care?
Okay, that's the same thing.
And what do I do next?
And the third thing, what do I do next? Good,
And
fantastic.
what do I do next is I put my name and email address into your autoresponder for something free of charge. Okay, you know,
Yeah.
for a lead magnet, you know, for
Yeah.
a PDF download, for something that's of real value to your ideal customer avatar. Okay, give them something of real value.
Sure. We will do that. The reason I asked this question is because I want to know, you know, that the whole LaunchPad thing should remain a separate website. And then I want to also integrate an aspect of it into the holistic one. So there's going to be the financial wealth side of it. It's going to be the LaunchPad one, plus a few other options.
Yes.
Okay, online business options. So I'm going to have, then I should have the separate LaunchPad one, plus can I also integrate LaunchPad into this new one?
Yeah, it just depends what John was saying, because I wrote down those things that he said, because I've always learned, and what is it? Who's it for? Why should they bother? And that's what's your challenge will be when you build the site, because that's what people must see when they land straight away. What is it? Who's it for? And why should they bother? Then when they scroll down or get more involved, you can say, and here's our offering for health, and here's our offering for earning more money, and here's this and that. And once you've got that structure right in your head and on paper, you only need a block about modern wealthy, you know, and say you can earn money online while you work and everything, and a picture, and then a click here button. And you can take people from your new
other
site
website
straight to the other website.
Okay, yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's what I did have in mind. So that would, so you corroborating what I had in mind. Thanks there, Mitch. John, anything more to say? I don't want to hog all the time on this call.
No. It's good. This is a good discussion that we're having, and I don't feel you know, sort of self-conscious or whatever about. I mean, we got an hour to fill. You know, we need questions. We need questions, and if we go off in different directions, I think it's useful for everybody. Sometimes it's useful to remind ourselves, actually, of some of these kind of guiding principles. You know. So, where were we up to? So do you correct? So the reason why I haven't been and this is only because I'm an affiliate for LaunchU, right? But the reason I haven't been that bothered about doing anything with my authority WordPress website is because there's never going to be that much traffic. I'm not driving anybody there. Right? What I'm doing, so the way I see my role, if you like, is I'm moving eyeballs on the internet from either a social media platform or a search engine to a landing page, to a standalone landing page that is nothing to do with that website. Okay. And that's how I'm gathering names and email addresses, and consequently I have to have the website to conform to all the GDPR rules and regulations. But the website itself, there might be a few people that type John Thwaites into Google and go there, or, you know, whatever. But it's not. But that it's not the site that's generating traffic for me. It's the paid ads on YouTube.
Yes.
As I'm going more down this social media route, and there's a blog now going like regularly, it's something that I need to address for sure and bring up to standard. But historically, with the strategy that I was using, you know, that's why I didn't sort of spend too much time improving it. Yours is hugely important. Yours is going to be your kind of online home. And regarding the ambassador template, I'm sure that if you've got, you know, the bar at the top of the homepage, where on the left you've got your logo and name, and then on the right you've maybe got maybe 3 or 4 or 5 tabs. Yeah. Well, one of those tabs could take you straight to the ambassador site. Okay.
Awesome. I like it. Thanks.
So that's a way. I don't know how people would get, but it would have to open in a new tab so that it leaves the original homepage open. You'd have to make sure that it was set up in that way, right?
Yes.
And
yes.
then,
so it doesn't take them too far away. They can come straight back. Right.
Yeah. So, and you've also asked about payment. I've never used any payment.
Okay. All right. Fine.
Processes. I mean, no doubt you've heard of Stripe and you know, processing, but you'll have to do your research on that. It sounds like you might already have something.
We're going to purchase beauty products on Alibaba, and then sell them via Amazon, fulfilled by Amazon.
Yes.
like that. Health products and beauty products. So it's quite ambitious.
Yes. Yeah. Good. Well, keep us,
right, cool.
keep us up to date. Yeah. And then, did you use your LaunchPad? No, I've just got one list. Really, it's broken. There's different ways that you can segment it. I mean, this is a whole other topic, really, the email marketing. But you can have people come into different lists depending on the way that I think it's called an API, depending on the way that the landing page and the autoresponder are connected. Or you can tag people. You can. Mitch was talking earlier on about having a bunch of subscribers. I've just got okay. Ciao. Yeah. Mitch was talking about having a whole bunch of subscribers in a list. That really what we need to be. There's an idea called list hygiene. We need to be actually maintaining that list, and there are ways and means of finding out who hasn't opened an email in, let's say, 60 days.
Yeah.
Right? Creating a segment in our list so that we're only going to email the people. We can add a tag to them to identify them, and then we can send out let's say a sequence of 7 emails, one every day for a week, that is designed to either re-engage those people or have them unsubscribe. We don't want we don't want to be paying for them, you know, because we're paying. There comes a point with, you know, all these autoresponders where when you get above a certain number of subscribers, you start to pay a little bit more for
over 500.
Every additional 1,000 or 10,000 or however many you know come in. And when you're up to 80, 100,000 subscribers, you're probably paying $500 or $600 a month just to keep those on your list. So obviously your marketing efforts need to be effective, and they're not going to be effective if people aren't opening their emails. You know, I mean, they might not be opening them for any number of reasons. You know, some are undeliverable. You know, some emails, I'm sure they just go into the promotions folder in Gmail, and people don't even know where that folder is.
Yes.
You know, so you know, we're as marketers, we've got a few hurdles that we have to overcome. But there's ways and means of mitigating the costs and improving the open rates as well. You'd be surprised at the impact it has on your open rates when you get rid of, you know, when you unsubscribe or you delete the people that aren't opening mails. Okay.
Okay, cool. Really appreciate that, John and Mitch.
Yeah.
Okay,
good.
Carol,
Alright.
just make a note, because of the nature of your website having those different
Yes.
dimensions. You will need to do
Yes.
some homework, because you'll find that somebody who goes in and buys a health product, you probably
Yes.
want to take them off the list into a health products section. Because now it'll be
Okay.
easier to cross-sell them health products than somebody
Ah.
who goes into something else. But that stuff you can learn as well.
Yeah, so we'll have a segment that's targeted specifically for those interested in health products.
Yeah,
In a sub-segment for wealth and sub-segment for spiritual health, stuff like that.
yeah. You'll find that if
Awesome.
you just study the notes on Aweber. So I do it on my emails. If I do an email about, I can't think of anything now, but an email about getting more money and somebody answers it, it tags them so that I can see who's opening emails about money, who's opening emails about freedom, who's opening emails about having more time. Do you see what I mean?
That's very important. Thank
Yeah.
you. All right, lovely. All right. Thanks, gang.
Sue Lamb, is there a reason you aren't using Convertri? It looks fantastic. I use Convertri a lot. Where's Sue Lamb? There's Sue Lamb. Hello, Sue Lamb. I use Convertri a lot, but I use it mostly for my landing pages and my thank you pages. I've got about 20 or 22 different landing pages that I'm testing against each other. And I've got 2 thank you pages that I'm testing at the moment. What I have never done is taken a complete website and built it in Convertri. My website's on the other system, not in Convertri.
What's the other system?
BBL.
Yeah, DBL site builder.
WordPress.
DBL site.
WordPress, yeah.
Okay. So I must admit, that's where I'm slightly confused. Why are we building on WordPress when Convertri can do everything?
Yeah. It's very simple. WordPress is free, and it's always yours, and it's open source. All right. That means it's just everything is free to the public. It's always yours. It will always belong to you. Once you build a WordPress website, if you come or you go or whatever you do, it's always yours.
Okay.
Right? And Stuart kind of, I think when you go through the modules, well, certainly the old modules, Stuart explained all this. So when you get to module 4, you know, if you haven't got there already, whereabouts are you in the modules?
Actually, I'm almost through module 5. I mean,
Oh, okay.
Yeah, module 5. But there was one in 4 that sent you to over an hour on Convertri with the guy, the designer, talking about it.
Yeah.
It's never been clear to me why we had the 2 differences.
Right. Okay. I'll tell you. All right. So I'll explain why that is. Okay. So WordPress sites are they're very heavy. They're very slow to load. Okay.
Yeah.
So a Convertri page, on the other hand, loads like that. Yeah. All right. It's less than a second, and it doesn't matter what's on there. There can be video. There can be huge graphics in the background. They're lightning fast, and there are statistics that inform us that if a web page takes more than 3 seconds to load, you'll just lose almost everybody.
Okay, so I did understand that. So I wondered why everyone was using anything other than Convertri.
Yeah, well, you use other than Convertri for your authority website, which is a requirement of doing business, of being an affiliate or doing business online. If you want to join any affiliate program, they're always going to ask you for your website URL.
Okay.
And they're going to go and want to check that out, and just your bona fides and your almost your address has to be on there.
Yeah.
You're screened and given the green light by Google.
Okay, thanks.
Okay.
Got it.
Yeah. All right, very good. So I think there's something here from Azza. So John Mitch, if you could do it again, would you change the ambassador website template and spend money to align your branding? The reason why I asked, my branding and website designer, which I've used for the last 4 years, is looking to charge £600 to design the website, including optimization, including SEO.
Can I ask you a question? Is that for selling Modern Wealthy? You mean that website? Can't hear you, Azure. You're quiet. Azure.
Yeah, I can see your lips moving, Asa, but I can't hear you, man. Have you got a Bluetooth device or something connected to your machine? Got no audio at this end.
Yeah. It says that his mic is on. No,
How about
Yeah, that's it. I
that's
hear
better.
something.
okay? It is for the ambassador affiliate program, but like some of the others on this call, there's other things that I want to add to the website. There's potentially the NLP. There's an affiliate program with the NLP program that I did that I'd like to bring on there. There's some books that I'd have affiliations on Amazon. There's maybe some banner advertising. There's promotions through print on demand. So it's just not I mean, the affiliate program is important, and it's there, but I'm trying to create a similar structure of low ticket, medium ticket, high ticket, not only from the ambassador, the LU or the Modern Wealthy program, but a similar sort of setup on the website. So when somebody comes in and goes onto the website, it would there would be a low ticket offering in other areas, whether it's a product, whether it's a link to a book or my own training program. There'd be a sort of a low, a medium, and a high ticket structure. My view on this is that about doing this because I want to launch this as quickly as possible. I spend the £500-600 and get something set up, or I leave the website the way it is and then slowly tinker around in the background and bring things on slowly. I do believe that the website is important. It's not necessarily what gets you the sale.
So you asked about 3 questions. I mean, I got about 3 different things because my Modern Wealthy website only serves the purpose of being as a base for Modern Wealthy. So I was quite happy to download the one that they gave, change some pictures, change some copy. And as John says, hardly anybody finds me through that. If you have bigger ideas of selling low ticket, medium ticket, high ticket, I heard you mention there were books and other programs and so on. Just to answer your question, that's a very low price for someone to build that site. The site itself might sit quietly on the side, and you have to drive traffic to it to get them to see the offerings for the books and so on. But £600 to do that sort of change onto a website seems very, very reasonable to me.
Okay. But if you were doing it again, would you actually spend that kind of investment before the launch? Or would you have actually, because that's kind of where I'm sitting at. I'm nearly through module 5. I've done a lot of the work. I created the sort of the branding guideline pack. So would you invest that £500-600 at this, or would you just leave it and see how the ambassador program goes, and because that's the kind of options I've got. I can leave it and just focus on the ambassador affiliate program and drive through and get the confidence of putting really compelling messages out there, whether I go through Facebook or YouTube. That's kind of where my business mind is saying is focus on the messaging, focus on driving that traffic through and get some sales in, because ultimately, like a lot of people, there's financial pressure there. And so that it gives a little bit of confidence, also a little bit of headspace to think about, okay, I need to now look at the website and the other areas that I want to create more income on and do it that way. That's what my logic is saying to me.
Yeah, yeah. Let me say something. First of all, I feel that the question is also is almost beyond my not the pay grade exactly, but my experience. Okay, because because all I'm doing is just the affiliate thing, so I'm not doing anything else. But what I would suggest you perhaps think about is when your business has come together, finally come together with the various different offerings, products, services that you intend to provide, make available. Simon Sinek would say you've got to start with why, right? And your people are also going to need to understand why you're doing what you're doing. This whole thing has got to hang together.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So I think where I would probably be in hindsight, having come down this, having been on the path for 3 years, I think I would, if I could go back, I think I would try and get a lot more clarity and focus around the messaging and
Okay.
why I'm doing what I'm doing.
Which
Right.
I've done a lot of work on, John. You know, I get the why side of things. I have put a lot of work in there, so I do understand why I'm doing it, and that's why I'm saying that maybe it's the messaging that I should maybe focus on, which then can be Are you saying that can be then translated later on onto a website?
Yeah, for sure. Because as we were saying earlier on, when somebody lands on the homepage above the fold, the very first question you need to answer is, what is this?
Yeah.
What is this all about? Okay, and it can take a while. I mean, that might evolve. You might not get it right first time out the gate. It might be a bit clumsy, or it might be misguided, or it's going to evolve perhaps as you grow and move forward on your journey. Okay, so it doesn't have to be right. We all have to start before we're ready, for sure. We have to, and then we learn as we go. But
Yeah.
what is it about all of these ideas that you're pulling together? What's the problem that's solving for this person that you're hoping to serve? And I think that's where you need to get clear. And as long as as with Carol earlier on, it's all around. She's made an umbrella, if you like, and said we're going to deal with spiritual well-being and financial health and physical health. Okay, well that kind of hangs together because it's all about our well-being, isn't it? These are different aspects of yeah.
So if I could look at my it's around some reskilling, and it's where business owners, ex-business owners, have lost their business and are looking to a little bit of guidance. And this is where the website would be a resource, a little bit of guidance on what to do next. It's where I came from. I lost my business, and I didn't know what to do, although I had a vast amount of experience. And one of the areas that I found very challenging was the digitalization. Although I'm reasonably savvy when it comes to IT, but there's a lot of fear there because you've lost the businesses, and then it impacts you on a very personal level. And part of it is answering that question: what should I do next? And the LU program allows you to be able to address a lot of the fears that people have about taking the next step, as well as the aligning that into your values, your passions, that then translates into potentially a business that you can create that you love. And that's kind of where I'm sitting, is on the reskilling and re-educating of business owners.
Yeah. Well, look, here's another thought that's just popped into my head while you were talking. Right. So I don't know how tight money is or isn't. I don't want to know. I don't want to sort of talk about that. However, if that once you get to the end of the modules and your business is ready for launch, right? I don't know what your marketing strategy is going to be, whether it's going to be organic or paid. But
It'd be paid.
It would be paid, right? Okay. Well,
Yeah.
so you're gonna need a budget. You're gonna need an advertising
Yeah.
budget, man.
Yeah.
You know, we got, you know, we have to.
Which I've thought about already. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Can't
yeah.
plan that.
And yeah, so you know, have that in reserve as well. You know, because although if you're in the modules, you think you're doing all the learning. No, you ain't. The learning will happen once you start spending money. That's when it really. That's when the learning really kicks in, because then you're finding out, you know, whether that money is being wasted or not. And if it is being wasted, you've got to respond. You know, you've got to start optimizing and improving, evolving and refining and getting better at what you do.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Let me try just to answer from another angle and just say, so I've built and I'm improving a site that teaches people how to run guest houses. So the advice I've received from a couple of courses is I've taken my strength, which is marketing guest houses, and that happens to align with people's wants and needs who run a guest house. Because I don't know if you know anything about about the business, but this is what you worry about if you've got a guest house. How do I get more people? How do I get them to stay longer? And how do I get them to pay direct instead of going through booking.com or something? So that's what I would call the driving force of the whole training module. And that's what we're going to show people how to do. And what I was advised is get that right and start getting sales in that way. A secondary thing to do is now, that's what I'll be doing over the winter break, is now I'll add things about, okay, this is how you can source sheets, cleaning materials and so on, because they're all part of this whole thing. But the key driving thing is the one that you must get right. And then once you've got some authority and that's working, you can now split. And so even, you know, there's even going to be a place for LaunchPad in that, because we have a winter season and a summer season. So what are you doing to earn money when you've got downtime? Well, here's LaunchPad. And so once you can understand what your core driver is, then maybe focus on that and get that right. And we had our 16th sale on the site just last week, which was quite exciting. So I'm starting to get the core offering right, and I'll do more work on that. But once I'm getting to guest house owners with their primary need, then I can start bringing in low ticket add-ons. You know, so I've got about 2,500 people who've watched the introductory videos but have never taken the course. Now maybe it's time to say to them, you know, here's a book you can get. Here's this. Here's a different thing. Why don't you do this in the winter and start trying to sub-sell to get more people in? But also when people are in, cross-selling them on the different offerings. I don't know if that helps a bit, but over and over again, everywhere I go, you know, Stuart, Justin, everybody says, you know, get one thing right. The one that stays in my head is on one of the trainings. It was about a year and a half ago. Somebody asked a similar question, and the trainer, and I can't remember who it was, said the only person who tries to ride 3 horses at once is in a circus, and he's a clown. And the whole message is just get one thing right, get it working right. Then you understand your funnel. As John says, you start to understand your people, what they want, and then it just makes so much more sense to me a year later about just starting with selling people on how to get more guests into your guest house. And once I've got that right and it's starting to click, you can see how everything else becomes secondary and to that. Maybe that helps a bit.
Yeah, I mean, my logic is, you know, like you say, just get one right. Why, but also, you know, why am I here? I'm here to be able to provide a solution to an industry in hospitality that has really taken a huge bashing in the last 4 years, and there have been a lot of people I've known have been casualties of that. So there's some people who've obviously recreated themselves, and there's some that haven't, and it's addressing that need. Again, it's where I've come from. I've lost my own business in the past life. So, and looking at my own, the questions that I had, the sort of the limiting self I went through, and obviously talking to people now and trying to understand to me, the content and the messaging is really important, but it's addressing, as you say, that one need for the moment. And you're absolutely right in saying, and I do agree with you, that if you get that right and you start driving footfall through, then other opportunities come up, whether it's selling books or whether it's I mean, I've got a 3-point masterclass program that I want to put out there. I don't think I should do that right now because it'll distract me from. I've got the basic structure, but I don't think I should really focus on that, because for me, I've invested in the gold package for Launch You, and I've got to be committed to that for 1 year. I mean, I always remember John says that there is no date about that commitment for that 12-month period, and then I'll review it, as John says, at the end of the 12 months. And that's kind of where I sit also. I do believe that if you're going to put that kind of investment in, and that money that's not been easy to come by, then it's only fair that I give myself the right chance to be able to get this right. So I do agree with you that it's just get that wrong. It's answers my question, where, and it goes back to the point I'm making, how much money do I put in? Should I put any money in? I'm quite savvy. I can make changes. I've made notes. I can change photos, change the copy, change the colors and the brands, put the logo in. I can do all of that myself. I don't need a designer to do that. And that kind of answers my question in a way also. So I mean, I could run with what I've got now, as long as I've got the right landing page, which we do through Convertri, and it's fast. And the thank you page. Those are the two important elements of, I guess, converting the sale. Yeah. Okay, so that kind of answers my question.
Okay, just my caution is, I know from my misadventure into Facebook, it's different. Everything is different. Selling low tickets is different to selling high tickets. Facebook's different to Google, different to, and you're going to overload yourself.
Yeah. So again, that's another decision to be made. What platform do I use to put my message out? Is it Facebook? Is it YouTube? Is it Google? So that's also another crossroads. So that's separation.
They all work.
They all work. Yeah.
They all work, and this leads us into the next question. And unless there's anything else that you.
No, that's it, John. Thank you very much.
Nevin's waiting patiently.
Yeah. Okay. So Nevin has asked a question about it. So I wouldn't say. I mean, Mitch and I are using YouTube, and as he suggested, he sort of strayed into Facebook recently because Dan Carroll does, and Dan Carroll's given trainings in the past on how to set your campaigns up there. But you cannot move an ad from YouTube to Facebook and it works. It doesn't work like that, because so on YouTube you get 5 seconds before you can skip. So we've been kind of taught to interrupt people, give them a reason to continue listening rather than skip the ad. But on Facebook, there's no sound on videos. All right, so all people get is imagery. So it's all about the headline with the Facebook ad. It's a completely different way of, garnering some prospect's attention. You've got the two aren't interchangeable. Dan Carroll does extremely well with Facebook. Stefan May uses
Google AdWords,
Google pay-per-click, right? Google search ads. Landria Onka has her own YouTube channel, and she doesn't pay any advertising at all. I've just recently gone down the social media route, and I haven't had a huge amount of success so far, but there have been sales that have come in from my social media posts. So all of these strategies will work if you become the master of them. I mean, I feel I've mastered. I was about mastered. I mean, I don't know about mastered, but I feel that YouTube works for me, right? And it just sort of runs along in the back. It just runs in the background. It does its thing, and I don't really have to do much. So I thought, well, I've got, I want to stretch myself. So, and I've written all these emails historically. I've written over 500 emails in the last 2.5 years, and they're all in Aweber. And if you think about it, every one of those emails can become a blog, it can become a social media post, it can become a script for some sort of video content, right? You know, it's eminently repurposable. And a few of us have been getting into the AI lately, which is funny, isn't it? Because I'm 65 years old, and we found this amazing piece of software online called Opus. And if you type in Opus video repurposing right into Google, it will bring it up for you, and there's a free trial. And so I've made a number of quite long form videos recently. We were all down at Mitch's a little while ago, a bunch of us, Mike Jakes and Justin and Stuart came up and so forth. And we took the opportunity to make some videos of each other, of us interviewing each other. Right now, one of those videos I made with Mike, it was 33 minutes long, right, which is going to be a bit of a stretch to get people to watch. Right, two old farts talking about, you know, digital marketing, right? So what this piece of software, Opus, asks you to do is, once you've got it uploaded to YouTube on your channel, you just grab the URL and you paste it into this piece of software, and about 20 minutes later, it had come up with 18 shorts. It had come up with 18 one-minute videos. They were all in vertical format, and they all had the big captions running straight through the middle as you speak. And where Mike and I were sat on two sides of a table, and it's just a static shot, the software is edited. When Mike's talking, it's just him, and then when I'm talking, it's just me. It's amazing, the tech that we can tap into now. You know, and yeah, as Mitch said, just become, you know, just one thing at a time. I think just become a master of one thing at a time. It doesn't matter what it is, you know. Go for see, there are some people that don't want to put themselves out on video. I understand that, and you can actually advertise on Google without putting yourself out on video. But if you don't want to be there, then, you know, why not go for text ads, or, you know, blog, or create some other different type of content where you don't need to be. I mean, I don't consider myself an influencer, but I'm sure some people do, you know, because I get emails from subscribers saying to me, I don't want to be an influencer. Well, you don't have to be. It's not necessary. You know, it's not necessary. So
John, can you use video on Google? Is that possible?
Yeah. Well, yeah. Yes. Okay. So with Google pay-per-click, yeah. What is recommended is that if you the search ads on page 1 of Google search, right, they're text only, and you're restricted to the number of characters that you can use in the headline and the subheadline, right? So what a lot of marketers do, or not a lot, but what some marketers do is that advert, obviously you don't pay for that advert, you don't pay anything at all to have that advert placed on page 1. You only pay if somebody clicks on it. That's why they're called pay-per-click for a start. So I mean, it's a brilliant, you know, economical solution, and you can laser target them as well because of the keywords that you use to put them in front of people. That's another whole other subject. But you know, if somebody has got a dog that's barking in the house, and it's barking at other dogs, and it's barking at people when you walk down the road with it, right? And you've got a device that hangs around the dog's neck on a collar, and whenever the dog barks, it makes an ultrasonic sound that startles the dog and stops its barking. You can put your offer only in front of people that are searching for solutions for problem barking dogs on Google. It's just genius. I mean, we used to advertise, well, not we, but I mean, like historically, you know, billboards were on the sides of buildings and buses, and people advertised on the TV and on radio. And it's this mass media where so much of it's just wasted. But nowadays we can pinpoint who we're going to present a message to with the targeting that we have access to, because Google knows everything. Google knows every single click you've ever made. Right? Be under no illusion. It knows what you believe. It knows what you think. It knows that girls are pregnant before their parents know they're pregnant, or their husband knows they're pregnant, rather. It knows this stuff. right? It knows so much about you. And when you get into, you know, say the Google Ads platform, and you want to target people, you can be really completely laser focused. And then the skill that you're going to learn, you know, with LaunchU is about the language that you use, which is going to connect again with the people that you want to be connecting with and moving them to action. Okay? This is the nature. All the techie stuff is, I'm not saying it's irrelevant, but it's just the medium through which we pass the message. Okay, we have to deal with the techie stuff. We have to get it in place, and we have to become a master of a little portion of it, you know, in order to be able to put the videos or the emails or, you know, whatever we're putting out there, right? But you know, once the work is done up front, which is just once, then the ongoing requirement for our technical expertise is minimal, really. And it's learnable. It's learnable. You know, but me and Mitch have learned it. Goodness sake, how complicated can it be?
Nevin, there's shortcuts. Can I show you a shortcut quickly, John?
Yeah, of course, you can do what you want.
So I don't use keywords on Google at the moment, but you can buy this thing called Keywords Everywhere. And that's the thing, and it's dirt cheap. It costs, I think it costs $100, and you get 100,000 credits. That's a lot. And then what you do is you type in what sort of keyword you're going to be looking for, and it then tells you what people have been using. So I'll just do United Kingdom.
Type in how to stop your dog barking. Type in how to stop my dog barking. Just see what comes up.
Okay, let me just see how I get into this thing again. Bulk traffic and it's keyword data. Enter keywords below. Stop your dog barking. Okay, so now it's telling me that cost me 13 cents per click just to search that word. Yeah. It's got quite a lot of activity, and it shows you how many people have searched that in the UK per month over the last few months. But all the information is there. I've just got to try and find where the thing is going to give me alternative keywords. So I haven't done this for a couple of weeks. No, let me just go back.
You can do that in the Google Ads. Have got a sort of keyword tool which gives you all the alternatives. Yeah.
But the nice thing about this is it tells you what they are, what price they are, how much it's been, how much it's costing. Sorry, just everything you need to know about the particular keyword. And then you just come in and choose the ones that are going to work for you. So can't get into it today. This is the problem when you don't do enough work. So you can see I've done some things before. Simple cake recipes, search volumes, there they are. Everything you need to know about the keyword. So that bit of software, Keywords Everywhere, is the one that you can use to do that. As I say, if I have 5 minutes to reboot my brain, you type in something like John was saying, collars to stop dogs barking. It will show you all the keywords that people have been using to do with dog collars, how much they're paying for each click, etc., etc. Then I used to do that to just choose, so I would choose self-education. It would give me all the keywords, and I would choose all the ones that cost less than 60 cents and just run those, because I couldn't compete with, say, Stuart or somebody who's paying £5 or £6 for a click.
Yeah.
And so you use long tail keywords. And you can get very creative with that. Sorry, John, I'm laboring your example here now. You want to save some more money. You type in how to stop Labradors barking, how to stop Dachshunds barking, how to stop this barking. Those will get cheaper and cheaper the longer you make the keyword.
Okay.
Those Dachshunds are buggers. They bark at everything.
They're actually doorstops. They're not dogs. Anyway.
So if I had to just sort of
What was that software called?
Keywords everywhere.
Keywords everywhere.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks.
There's another one called Answer the Public, isn't there, which is free. It's another keyword tool, I think.
Yeah. This one wasn't free, but it was just so damn cheap. It's I think it's 90 quid for 90,000 for 100,000 searches. And then it does so many things. If you find so when I was starting, I would take somebody else's email, like Mike Jakes' one, put it up. Then you see all the keywords he's used. It tells you what they are. Then you go to each of those keywords and you look for cheaper versions. And so you go, so you go, so you go. And that's the problem with YouTube, is that YouTube doesn't run very well on keywords anymore because they're trying to use their own algorithms. So they've moved right off keywords, but Google search still does.
Can you let me share the screen, Mitch? If you go down to the security tab down at the bottom and click on it, please.
Yeah, I did.
Okay,
Is share screen. You got it?
Yeah, got it. Right, brilliant. Okay, so this is another one. So this is called answerthepublic.com. I don't know whether it's going to, well, anyway, this gives you, if you type in a keyword, so what should we type in here? I don't know whether it's going to let me type in. What should we type in? How to make money online?
Yeah.
Let's see what happens when we do this. I think there's a limit to the number of searches that you can do on here. So so what is recommended? It's asking me to create a free account, but it's obviously going to want money at some point. But I think what you can do is I think what you can do is go in if you've got Google Chrome loaded up, then just go into incognito mode, and you should be able to go in time and time again, because it won't recognize the I don't think your computer stores the cookies when you come onto the site. But this is what happens. So if you put in how to make money online, then it's going to give you this graphic with, how can I mean, it's going to give you all of the related searches in this kind of graphic form, if you like.
Yeah.
And then with the I'll stop. I just wanted to show you that. And it's a free one. But also with the Google Ads tool, which is in the dashboard, when you open up a Google Ads account, again, you type in a keyword, it gives you all the related searches, and you can download all of those related searches as a file, right? And then when you come to create the campaign, you can upload the file. So you don't have to actually write anything down or make notes or type things out. You can just, in bulk, you can just shift all of their related searches so that you are assured that whatever your thing is that you're putting out on Google search, it's going to appear in all of the related searches as well as the one that you've, identified as
right.
as yours. Okay.
I'm just going to jump back, John, because I found out what I was doing wrong. I just typed in again, stop your dog barking. Yeah. Because I've turned it on here. You just scroll down on the right.
Yes.
Here it's worked out all the keywords, how to stop dog barking in seconds. That's how many people are looking in the UK in a month, 10 cents a click. My dog barks at everything that passes by, so it tells you all the keywords, how many people click, the price.
There's no such thing as a bad dog, only a bad owner. Did you know that?
No.
Dog trainers don't train dogs, they train the owners.
Yeah. And then in the second bit, because this is just you asked it to look for that, stop your dog barking.
Yes. Yeah.
But here's all ones that they're just going to tell you now. Here's other ones people have done.
Yeah.
So if you're doing a keyword search, all of these are quite cheap, except if you're selling something that stops a dog barking, it might not have large margins in it. So you've got to work out how much you want to charge. So maybe you just, sorry?
Yeah, we just scroll right up to the top of page 1, please.
There.
Yeah, there. Let's see sponsored and sponsored. You see those first
Yeah.
2 hits, right? They're
Yeah.
ads. Sponsored means it's an ad, all right? And if you scroll right, oh, there's
And
the
this
first
one?
3. Amazon is
Yeah.
there as well. And then scroll
Because
right down
that's-
to the bottom. Scroll right down to the bottom of page 1 as well, please, Mitch.
Okay.
Right down to the bottom of this page.
Because that's what Google do now. That'll be ads. That'll be Google answering your questions. There will
Right
be
down
the
the bottom.
videos, and then here will be the free ads. None on this page.
Yeah. There it is. There it is. It's always the first and the last. The
Yeah.
last was an ad. That's an ad, sponsored. All right. So if you want to get on page 1 of Google, that's the way you do it. And you don't pay anything to put those ads there either, unless somebody clicks
Yeah.
on it.
It's obviously
So
quite
what-
a topic.
So what we were talking about, I know I got off the subject because the question was, can you use video with Google pay-per-click ads, right? And you can. So what happens is you get somebody that comes through to your landing page from one of these ads. So
Yeah.
you haven't had to put yourself out on video, right? But what you can do is you can have a video on your landing page.
Let's
Okay.
see.
It can just be a little 2 or 3 minute video.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
again, it doesn't have to be you. But if it is you, the whole world isn't going to see it, right? You're only going to be talking to the people that you want to be talking to.
Yeah.
And you can be so geographic with Google Ads. I mean, you can exclude, let's say you can exclude a 10-mile radius of your hometown. You can exclude your province or county or region. You don't have to advertise in your country. You can exclude from campaigns or include anywhere that you want, either by city, province, region, country, or by pinpointing an area and then putting a radius around it. So that's
See,
how.
that's what these people have done, just what John's saying. So that's their ad. And you click on it, and it's just gone to their homepage
that wasn't an ad though.
themselves.
That wasn't an ad because that wasn't sponsored.
No, I don't
Right.
mean. I just mean my ad. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Whatever.
But what they're using a different strategy. They're blogging, right? So they've created a web page. A lot of these on page 1. A lot of these hits on page 1 that are not sponsored, they're going to be blogs, right? And they're going to be. This is a whole other subject. This is massive because you're going to build a blog around one keyword.
Yeah. So the sponsored ones stay sponsored, don't they? Yeah. They're sponsored.
Yes, yeah, exactly.
Sponsored. So
and
they're
those-
paying to be at the top.
Yeah, and those other ones, which are blogs, they're going to have affiliate links in them.
Yeah. So let's just
Right.
look at Dog Trust. This is the page they've built themselves, and now they're answering the question: how to stop your dog barking. Now that's an interesting one because that's what I typed in. Some people do that this headline changes depending on what the person searched. So if you typed, how do I stop my cat barking? It would say here, how to stop your cat barking. It's quite clever. So here's the tips, but let's just see. They've given you what you wanted, and you can get a call for dog training and behavior.
Okay.
Sponsor a dog, volunteers, fundraisings, ton of stuff.
So just tell me if my takeaway is correct, just following the discussion. It doesn't really matter whether you are advertising on Google or YouTube. Just become the expert in one of them, whichever one you choose. Become the
Yes.
expert. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay.
Because you can
Mastery.
see you can see John and I playing now with Google, going, oh, look at this, oh, look at this.
Yeah.
We don't really know what we do.
Yeah. And I guess I would say the benefit of using YouTube is that, you have a personal live interface with a customer, which sometimes is, easier to make a connection in that way, as opposed to using words. So, no, okay. I think that answers my question. Thank you, John and Mitch.
Let's just show you where you'll find all that. If you go to your LaunchPad, and this is a good place to start. I think you go LaunchPad, see here, learning paths. go beneath all this stuff here. Now you decide you're really interested in just doing, that's YouTube, you're interested in Google marketing.
Okay.
Press this one here, and this will give you the 4 or 6 or 7 best starters. So it's gone in and it's chosen essential training, advanced training, remarketing, analytics. So those are your 4 best courses available on LinkedIn to get going. The guys at Modern Wealthy have worked with LinkedIn and they've put them in there. So 2.5 hours. And so when you go in there, this gentleman's going to now teach you all the basics.
Okay.
And he's broken it down into headings where your ads appear. All the questions you've asked that John and I had a stab at. Here's how you do it. Find your goals, customers' expectations. And then at the end, he's put a chapter quiz to make sure you're concentrating as you go through. And then you follow the whole thing, and you can see it's as comprehensive as hell. Then once you've done that, you'll move on to the next one, which is more advanced. So you can learn everything you need to know about Google AdWords right there.
Yeah, you're in the right place, Nevin. I mean, like, you know, once you can master this, you just future-proof your entire, every single remaining day of the rest of your life. Become a master of this and you're set.
If it doesn't work, John, can I come back to you?
Yeah,
Yes.
come back to me. Come back to me.
If it doesn't work, John will sort it out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. I can't get enough of it. I think it's brilliant. Get into the, you know, I mean, like you've obviously, I don't know where you are in the modules and everything, but I mean, once you've actually got the things set up, once you know what you're doing, who you're serving, what you're a stand for, you know, once you've found your brand voice, if you like, then, you know, at that point you can start to sort of refine and fine tune, and you'll be getting into maybe more of the psychological sort of aspects of our crafts, if you like, you know. Yeah, it's I think it's endlessly fascinating, human behavior and what motivates it and so forth. But obviously I think we need to be coming from a place of sort of compassion and, you know, this idea of service. I think when I came in, I didn't feel like that. For me, it was all about the money when I came in. But I think somewhere along the lines, I got a bit of, I think Stuart might have mentioned Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Okay, as one of his books. I think he holds it up on one of his webinars. And I read it. And I had this realization in there. So Robert Kiyosaki talks about the nature of money. All right. And so money has a number of qualities. And I remember 2 of them very clearly. Money is a medium of exchange and it's a store of value. Okay. So when you think about money in those terms, then it becomes self-evident. It becomes blindingly, glaringly, dazzlingly obvious that if you want to earn money, you have to put value out into the world. Right? You know, we've got to be helping, serving, easing pain. You know, we've got to be doing the right thing. Okay, and when you're coming from that position, then even though it may take a little while, you just know that it cannot fail. It can't fail. You've got such an edge with this knowledge. You know, these little ideas that we've just looked at. You know, about I put an advert for a dog collar in front of people that have got problem dogs. It's genius.
Yeah.
And there are so many other strategies. I mean, you don't have to run paid ads. You know, all those other hits on page 1. They're all going to be people that have gathered together lots of useful information, right? And so you had the Dogs Trust there, which I think is probably a charitable organisation, and they want to help you, but they also want you to probably give a dog a home. They want you to contribute, you know, maybe sort of charitable, you know, contributions, this sort of thing. They're there for a reason, all right? And a lot of those other hits on page one, they're going to be blogs. So this is going to be individuals and companies. I mean, if you search anything about money, right, whether it's investments or pensions or whatever, page one, Forbes are going to come up. Fidelity Investments are going to come up. All of those companies are always going to come up on page one. And when you go into those sites, you'll find that they're affiliate sites, or they're selling their own thing. They're either selling their own thing or they're selling somebody else's. Every single Insurance Compare website is an affiliate site. That's what they are. It doesn't matter what insurance company you sign up with to insure your car or your life or your home and contents, they're getting a commission. Right? There are so many different ways that you can, monetize, if you like. I think so. Mitch has just checked out. He's probably got problems with he's gone for a comfort break, I think. So, yeah, are we done, or are there more messages? Yeah, I think we're done now. So I don't know whether Mitch is going to come back or not. But this is your last chance, folks. If you want to ask any questions, put your hand up or come out, talk to us. Otherwise, we'll wrap it up, I guess.
I just want to say thank you. It's obvious you guys have been inspired by the big guns. Thank you for inspiring us again. God bless you all.
Yeah.
Thanks, John. Thanks, Mitch, in your absence.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Yeah, all right. I'm not sure I can actually end I don't think I can end the meeting. I think I'll probably have to.
Right, I've got a quick question.
Hi, John.
Hello. When you're doing your test marketing, you make a YouTube video and you test it. Which markets do you actually test? Because you use how do you test it? Which customer base do you check it out on?
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, so when you go into Google Ads, it gives you lots of pre-made audiences. All right. So there are avid investors, and there are people that buy online courses, and there are people that are starting a business. There are all these different audiences, and some of them are called in-market audiences. And what that means is that the people right now are actively researching those topics. All right. And so there's a deal of intent there. There are other audiences called affinity audiences. And what that means is that Google considers that these people have a general interest in that topic. Okay, so you're going to have to test your own audiences. We all have to do this. It always used to be self-help and motivation was the pre-made audience that we used to use when topics were available, but they've been taken away from us now. So what you can do is you can create your own audiences as well, either in market or affinity. So you can create an audience around, what is your person going to be typing into Google? Right? Are they going to be typing in there how to make money online or not? Maybe they're not going to be typing that in. Maybe they're going to be typing in something else. All right. Maybe they're going to be typing in something about their retirement. All right. So what you can do is you can and also you don't have to use just keywords. You can use URLs to create audiences. Right. So think about the websites that your person is going to be targeting. I mean, if you were going to be targeting people that are into self-help and motivation, then Mind Valley might be a website that these people visit. It might be, it might not be. I'm not, if you test that, you do it at your cost. But I'm just giving you an example.
Yeah,
right?
fine.
People that go to Mind Valley are obviously people that are sort of motivated to improve themselves in some way. Okay.
Because there's a guy called I always forget his name, who wrote Spell Like Crazy. It's a book I'm busy
Yeah,
reading through now.
Sabri Subi.
And he's brilliant because he talks about all markets as a pyramid. And I'm really buying into his stuff. And he says the problem with all of us marketers is we all jump in and try to grab people at the top of the pyramid. So if we look at the dog barking issue again, he says there, everybody who sells equipment to stop dogs barking runs ads against, have you got a problem with your dog barking? And of course, they're competing with all those other people who are trying to get that same person. What you can also do is just type in something like a little promotion from our friend in the Spanish Quarter here. You can just type in, you can prepare the pyramid and get people earlier. And so if you had broader questions about ways of targeting people who have dogs, and you get them into your website, I'm assuming you build, in this curious example, you're building a website about dogs and training dogs. But, even from, buying puppies, there must be so many things to do with dogs. And if you can get people low down the pyramid, so coming back to our example, there he is. Here's John doing. He's very well trained, is our John. But if you started saying things like, I don't know, 55 to 65-year-olds thinking of leaving your career, you just go broader and broader. You get people long before they've decided to start earning an income online. Costs you so much less because there's so many more people. As opposed to if you go in and you search people looking for a course to earn online, that's very expensive, about 14 or 15 pounds a click, because everybody's in there.
Yeah. So you can create your own audiences. You can use the custom audiences, and another thing that you can do is when you set a campaign up, to reduce the cost of the conversions a little bit, you can put more than one audience into an ad group, right? So I mean, if I'm testing anything new, what I would do is I might pick it. I'd go through all the pre-made audiences first of all, and I'd just make a note of any of them that I thought were a likely candidate. Okay, and then in addition, I might create, one or two or more audiences of my own. Okay, and they're going to be custom intent or custom affinity depending on the size. Some of the custom intent audiences are going to be so small you won't get a number of impressions from the Google tool. So you set it as an affinity audience, which is a larger audience. And then just put a bunch of audiences into one ad group and run an ad in front of it, and Google will always find the lowest price conversions for you, right? Which doesn't necessarily mean to say they're the right ones, but once you've got a bit of experience, once you've got a bit of history with an ad group, then what you can do is so let's say it's spending money on the top 2 out of 5 and it's hardly spent any money on the bottom 3. What you can now do is you can set up another campaign and put those 3 audiences into it on their own and allow Google to spend some money there. It's all, this whole marketing thing is always all about testing. And ultimately we can have benchmarks that we're trying to hit, if you like, in terms of view rates and click-through rates and cost per conversion and landing page opt-in rates and all that. But ultimately, the only metric that is of any importance whatsoever is the revenue that a campaign generates compared to the money that you've actually spent on the ad spend. That's the only metric that counts in the final analysis. But it takes a little while to get there because people don't necessarily buy straight off the thank you page. They need to come into the sequence, and you have to give things time, which is why historically I've run campaigns at reasonably low budgets and just allowed them to run. And that allows Google to optimize, the algorithm can optimize, and people can come into the sequence and they can be nurtured, by my emails, my little videos and the stuff that I put out there for them.
All right. Thanks. Thanks, John.
John, a question
Somewhat-
to clear my head. Sorry there, John. When you're finished, you buy LaunchPad and it runs for a year. When you finish LaunchPad, they just start billing you month by month, don't they?
99 a month.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, I was just wondering, John and Mitch. I bought my Launchpad January 1st. Okay, so December 31st it ends, but I joined Accelerate Silver on March 1st. So
Yes.
how,
Yeah,
how
I think Accelerate will last for a year till March.
Yeah, Johan, that is a perfect question for support. You know the little chat bubble, the chat
No
bubble.
worries.
I think
Yes,
anything to
okay.
do with your membership or the training. Obviously, we come out on these calls, but neither Mitch nor I are
Sure. No
employed
worries.
by the company.
worries.
Yeah, and I'm not sort of fobbing you off either. But they will give you they'll give you the answer that you need.
Okay.
They're qualified.
Thank you
They're
so much.
qualified
Thank
people.
you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. How are we doing, Mitch?
There's no more questions, Uncle John.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think we're going to wind things up, folks. This is your last chance. Put your hand up, come out, talk to me. Otherwise, that's it. We're gone until September.
Well, that's not so far away.
Looking
Cheers, hey.
forward, guys. Looking forward.
Cheers,
Thanks a
Johan.
lot.
Cheers,
Thanks.
Natalia.
Thanks very much. Bye-bye.
Cheers, hey.
Bye.
Brilliant.